starting with something I know you love, Dave, an overseas game. Commanders-Dolphins in Madrid. How annoyed are you with this one?
I love this game. Do you know why? Okay.
Why?
It's the last one of the season. After this, it'll all be over. And it's a cruel joke that we are sending the Commanders and Dolphins over to Spain for the first ever football game in the country. The NFL deserves this, frankly, with a stinker on national television for all to see bright and early on Sunday morning. Commanders are in free fall, not just since the Jaden Daniels injury. They've lost 5 straight games, which I actually didn't even realize, even though one of those losses was to the Cowboys, a game I watched and relished quite very much so. But their past 4 by at least 21 points in each. Dan Quinn is taking over defensive play calling. Could be a good thing. We know he's a great coordinator. He's levied his defensive coordinator abilities into 2 head coaching jobs in his career. So you got to give him that. The Dolphins are still bad, I guess, but they've won 2 of their last 3 games, scoring 30 plus in both. So there's something going on there. However, I don't think you can ignore the fact that Marcus Mariota mentored Tua. Both are from Honolulu, and Tua is just such a nice guy. He might just, give Marcus Mariota this win. He's just such a stand-up dude. Just give it to Marcus, let him leave with a dub to try and turn the Commanders season around. But I digress on being facetious. Model's pretty 50-50 in this game. 2.5 point spread, no value in the Commanders to win, so not really an extra edge there. 50-50 on the total, 47.5. That was actually a negative edge due to the odds. Sorry. Just trying to think of how I want to phrase this. I don't want to say it feels like it's all the Dolphins in this one, but Debo tops the touchdown probabilities at 34%. Meanwhile, A-Chain's at 57%, Beefy 21% to score twice, Jalen Waddle's at 43%. Just much higher scoring equity for the Dolphins in this game. The Commanders have had a really tough go with the backfield. No one's just emerging at all. Bill, it seems like it's just not happening for him. Chris Rodriguez is getting looks. The Dolphins have sort of righted the ship as far as rushing defense after giving up the Rico Dowdle breakout game. So it just seems like it's going to be a tough one for them to move the ball. And the Dolphins haven't looked their worst lately. So it's just one that, I don't know, doesn't really look good for the Commanders. Definitely a good props game, I think. If you're going to look at any Commanders, Zach Ertz for me. Finns give up 71.4 receiving yards per game to tight ends, just bottom 5, almost 8 targets, which is up there in the league. Only projected for 43, 32% TD probability, but you might be able to sneak some nice alternate lines on Zach Ertz just for the mere fact that there's not really anybody else besides him, Debo, to be catching the ball there. Just been a really bleak couple of weeks for the Commanders. And now they got to go overseas and play a Dolphins team that's at least trying to string some stuff together. So,
yeah. What a spot, right? Congratulations. You finally beat the Bills. Take a 12-hour flight or whatever it is. It's going to be fascinating to see how they respond to that. I like the odds of some crazy offensive plays happening in this game, like big play potential on both sides. I don't know who it's going to be from the Commanders, but it just feels like a props game to me. One of the more fun potential offensive games in the overseas series that we've seen this season. So has my full attention as well. Next up on our storylines, it's the Unc Bowl Part 2. We dubbed it that earlier this year. Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco. You and I were texting through this game the first time as we highlighted the potential for some touchdown scores. There were 4 different tight end touchdowns the first time. So I don't know. Are you expecting a repeat of exactly what happened in Unc Bowl Part 1?
I don't know if exactly the same. I would be pretty amazed if the Steelers score 4 tight end touchdowns. I mean, even the Bengals got one with Noah Fant in that game, but they remain pretty vulnerable at that position. I mean, Mason Taylor is the one who caught that game-winning catch from Breece Hall, I believe, against the Bengals a few weeks ago. I'd be almost more interested on the Bengals side. You got to figure Flacco's about to give it his all. Might have just 2 games left as the Bengals starter. Maybe his last 2 games ever, who knows, or he'll be quarterback for the Cardinals or something next year. But you better believe I'm looking at the tight ends in this game. Again, I'm picking one of them up in fantasy, debating which one. So we'll see if the Dimers projections can help me at all here. But yeah, Jonnu Smith, 2.9 receptions, 28.3 yards, 27.4% touchdown probability. Freiermuth, a little lower, 2.1 receptions, 21.7 yards, 25.5% TD probability. And Darnell Washington, my king, 1.6 receptions, just 16.2 yards, and under a 20% TD probability. So Jonnu's the top projected. If you're looking to take one just based on that alone, it would be him, 7.8 PPR points. That's a fair floor in fantasy if you're starting a tight end in a desperation spot. All have pretty similar red zone equity, 4, 5, and 7 targets each, respectively. They each all have a touchdown or 2. I believe Darnell Washington has 1. Jonnu and Freiermuth have 2, I think. I know Freiermuth does. I didn't note the others, but yeah, I'm certainly going to be playing them. I don't think it's going to be quite, like I said, the same, but maybe a Jonnu Smith, Darnell Washington 2-piece for fun. And I'll probably play Jonnu Smith for fantasy. So if you're looking for one, that's the guy I'm going with my Thursday waiver pick, I guess.
I'm intrigued. I like it. All right, next up, we go to the greatest city in the world, as Jameis called it in the media this week. I don't know if you saw that, but Jameis Winston, he's back, baby. We can't get rid of him. Eat a W. Let's have some fun with this. He was singing at the podium this week about how excited he is to play in front of New York fans. Now, Jackson Dart hasn't formally been ruled out, but if Jameis is singing at the podium that he's excited to play in front of fans, it seems like we know what the Giants' expectation is here. This may only be for 1 week, but I'm excited for it because Jameis Winston's one of the more electric quarterbacks in the entire league when he is available. No matter where he's playing, he's must-see television for me. If there's one guy to watch with the addition of Jameis here, it's got to be Wan'Dale Robinson, right, Dave?
Yeah, looks actually pretty good for him. 14.0 PPR points, 5.1 receptions, 61.9 receiving yards, 29% TD probability. We know Jameis Winston loves to just sling it. F it. Whoever is my wide receiver 1 is down there somewhere. And that's pretty much Wan'Dale Robinson these days for the Giants. I'm actually debating on if I'm going to pick up Jameis and just replace my Jackson Dart injury in fantasy with him. I haven't quite decided on that. It is the Packers, so it's not going to be the easiest defense here. Jameis hasn't played in a game, and I actually don't know how long. I probably should have checked. I can't remember if. He was playing for the Browns last year.
Time is just a construct to Jameis Winston. Okay, it doesn't matter. It'll be 6 years or 1 hour. It doesn't matter.
He just exists in the void in between those. Time doesn't pass at all. Yeah. Much easier game, I think, for the Packers than anything. This one, who just badly need to put on a display and show something because they are struggling with that lately. Truthfully, not a lot to know about how this offense will look post-Dable. Could be reading into this too much, but Mike Kafka promoted Tim Kelly to the offensive coordinator, tight ends coach of the Giants the past 2 years. Theo Johnson coming off basically his best game, 7 catches on 8 targets for 75 yards. Maybe the coach plays, little favorites and schemes some extra plays for his positional guy. 39.1 receiving yards and 27.3 TD probability for Theo Johnson there. Could be, I put this in the notes, a little interesting reverse correlation parlay you could do with Dimers value props that are on the site is Jameis is under passing yards, 237.5. We project him for 221.9. But over 1.5 passing TDs, which we have at a 49% probability and plus 170. You get that at plus 650. You put them together. So just a little reverse correlation thing I saw in the props, not advocating for it as a must bet or anything, just something I happened to notice. And, maybe some good value. Both had an edge in as standalone props. So something to play with there.
That's great value, and I almost want, can we get alerts for that? Anytime we have 2 value props with Dimers that can spit out a plus 650 prop parlay, I almost want to just auto play those.
Yeah, it's certainly something to look at. We do have the passing TDs props now, which we didn't used to. So we have these, additional opportunities where the model might, find the value. Like it's 49%, but plus 170 is like 40, no, the 39% probability or so. So it's a big difference.
Yeah.
Right there. And then just one more note I have here: the Giants are plus 295 on the money line, 25.9%. 7-point underdogs. This would be the biggest immediate post-firing upset by spread since the Chiefs fired Todd Haley in 2011 and beat the Packers as 11-point dogs. So, Packers.
2011 was a great year, Dave. It was
that was weird.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal year until my prom date went on a cruise and cheated on me, but I digress. Let's move on. The Detroit Lions, my team, are taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Dan Campbell is at the podium supporting the tush push. He's a big fan of that. That was minus 9,000. Yeah, minus 9,000 on Campbell supporting man ball. This could be a big time playoff preview. I think the Lions seem to have at least righted the ship momentarily. In Philadelphia, say what you want about their concerns. A.J. Brown has his own concerns. These two teams will be here in the postseason and may potentially match up again. We also have a fun one with the Rams and the Seahawks, two teams that are just looking untouchable right now. Something has to give. I feel like we could do an entire podcast episode about these two games. So easily. Where do you want to start, Dave?
Easily. I'll just say there's so much good stuff in these games that I've mostly avoided them with our best bets and round robin because I wouldn't even know where to start with a first TD in these games because there's so many powerhouse options. But Lions-Eagles, can Jahmyr Gibbs score 3 touchdowns again? I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but he gets value at 1, 2, and 3 in the Dimers model. Only minus 125 or so for anytime touchdown, which is really good on a guy that good. Eagles defense is pretty solid, but they haven't been absolutely shut down on the rush. Also, running back storyline in this game, Saquon did not look quite himself after the bye week. If you remember, he came up limping a little bit, came up lame, however you want to say it, after the Giants game, which he dominated in, but he left early. But only 2.7 yards per carry this past week. Pretty much his entire day was saved by a big catch and run. The other 2 catches he got going for no yards netted. Projected for 74 rushing yards, 21 receiving, and a 46% TD probability. Not exactly offensive player of the year, Saquon stuff. Under 50% to score, not something we just are seeing very often with him. So something to look at. Hopefully he's all good for the sake of fantasy teams and just general NFL entertainment and betting in general. But he has not didn't look quite the same coming out of the bye, which you would have thought would have been trending in the other direction. And then one more thing, Jameis Williams, man, first 100-yard game since week 2 after Dan Campbell took over the play calling duties, paid dividends right away. Only projected for 51 in this game. Eagles passing defense is 14th in yards, but their 8 touchdowns allowed are the fewest in the NFL. So I would temper your expectations if you're excited about what you saw from Jameis Williams last week and are firing him up either in fantasy as a wide receiver, 2, or betting on him to hit a similar mark. Just would temper those expectations. Rams Seahawks, the other one, potential NFC Championship preview as well. This game's really got it all, man. 2 excellent defenses, 2 powerhouse offenses that can pretty much score at will. Cooper Kupp versus former team, couldn't in his old house. You can't really script this any better.
Fine. It's fine. I think you got to find a way to talk yourself into betting Kupp in this game. I just want to,
Yeah, you got to find the way. Maybe play him. I don't know. I was just going to say first quarter, but I like to think of a different angle or something. But the thing is, we only project him for 24 receiving yards and a 19% TD probability. So certainly there's value. I mean, I might just skip if you were going to bet on him for a good game. Just skip the low tiers and just go straight for 70, 80, 90 plus. Expect him to go off or something. 2 touchdowns. Have some fun with it. But I know that the model isn't projecting him for a big game, is not scripting in the Cooper Kupp flash job against his former team.
You mean our model doesn't run on things that would be fun to bet? It runs on analysis and data? That's crazy.
Very, very small percentage of the input is a fun factor. And you got, speaking of fun factor, two of the best wide receivers in the game right now, Puka Nacua and JSN going head to head, 104 yards and 42% for JSN, 93 yards and 48% touchdown for Puka. I might just look at them to hit those marks, 100 for JSN, 90 for Puka, grab them for a touchdown. Two really great rushing defenses, but the passing defenses are ranked 18th and 19th, perfectly matched for this in a game that, these teams are going to want to put on, I think, a big statement against one another.
Yeah, little toe for toe wide receiver one battle is probably a lot more likely than a Kupp going off game. What about you used to do our yardage touchdown parlays. I don't know if you're going to give out a personal play later in the show. I haven't seen what you got, but any interest in like a JSN Puka over a certain mark plus a tutty parlay?
I think I should just probably run back that one I did last week and replace Puka or replace Ladd with Puka and just do JSN.
So I'm seeing a DraftKings plus 750 to get both JSN and Puka 100 plus and a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm all in on that. Yeah, forget the 90. Just give me the 100. Yeah, they're gonna be featured pretty heavily, I think, in this game. Unless, they try to just script Cooper Kupp to have the crazy game. But I mean, come on, It's JSN. Like, you're going to use your top weapon against a team that you might be facing in the playoffs.
Yep. Love it. All right. Well, that is cool. Thank you for taking us through those. This feels like a particularly uniquely fun week in the NFL. Kind of hit that midway point of the season where it's just sleepy and everybody's on bye. Wake up, folks. We got some good games to look forward to this weekend.